On the second day of 2025, I turned 25. They say this is when your frontal lobe fully develops. I can now rent cars without a young driver's fee if only I had my license, and I began the teetering of my mid-20s to late 20s of not quite wanting to define myself yet, but wanting to do everything at once. I signed a lease for the first time, went to my first wedding, got LEED certified, knit my first sweater, learned how to sew, celebrated my friends' birthdays, engagements, and adopted a kitten. His shelter name was Alan. Anish and I added Sir Alan to give him an honorific of his little tuxedo. Then Alex added Acha as his middle name in exchange for cat sitting, and that's how we ended up with a cat named Sriracha Alan.
Nice.
With Anish, Mega, and Seth all going to grad school, I spent as much time with my friends as I could in my last 6 months in DC, planning increasingly ridiculously themed events.
Body into it.
Dude, their puzzle was way easier. Are you kidding me?
Noted. Oh my god, I'm so ready. Oh. Yeah. Give Mark Severance a gun.
I also pushed myself to do things that I thought I could never do. I hiked the most elevation I ever have at 5,200 feet over 3 miles in Acatenango, Guatemala. I was genuinely fighting for my life and took a nap at base camp while Anish hiked Fuego, which was an additional 2,000 feet.
I started carrying Rose's backpack during that part. But after I got used to it was pretty okay.
I also hiked further than I ever have with 70 miles through Shenandoah Park, section hiking the AT. They call it the Green Tunnel for a reason, and the miles came quickly, especially with the luxury of the restaurants in the park if you told yourself just a couple more miles. It was so peaceful and lush, and the weather was beautiful until the day we bailed, and I realized I wasn't cut out for through hiking. But the hardest thing I did this year was my first big girl move from DC to Ann Arbor, where Anish would be starting grad school for the next 2 years.
It's right on the river, so we got some hot cider and a donut to share, and we sat on the river.
After a month in St. Louis, my parents helped us move to Ann Arbor in August in what happened to be the hottest week of the year. I was also deathly ill, feeling stupid that we hadn't toured in person before moving, and generally struggling to transport an apartment's worth of furniture in my parents' sedan. We tried to move a kitchen island on wheels 4 blocks down from Facebook Marketplace and ended up tearing off all the wheels and having to call an Uber XL for a 2-minute drive. Yeah, the car-free life is really not glamorous when moving. I discovered that living in a college town when you're not a college student can be incredibly isolating, and while the non-university side of Ann Arbor is incredibly community-oriented, it's hard to feel like part of the community while remote working. I also visited Taiwan and China this year with Alex, Mega, Anish, Clayton, and Eugenia. That was such an amazing trip, and it was so much fun showing my friends places that were such a big part of my childhood and exploring new ones together. But it also made me realize how culturally disconnected I felt. I realized I've never spent time in China without my parents or my grandparents, and I don't really know how to navigate most social spaces as an adult.